Hi guys, good evening. First of all, let me apologize because we're starting late. There was some technical issue, and we might need to wait a few more minutes because few more people are joining in. Yeah. So give me some 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll start. Yeah. Thank you for your patience. Gaurav, Aji Kumar, Aji Kumar. I hope I'm audible now. It's live on LinkedIn. We're sharing on other social media platforms. Hi Ruchi, thank you for joining in. Okay, so let others join whenever they want, but I think we should respect the people who are already here. So let's start. Yeah, so let me start with a big thank you for all of you who have joined here. And just live comments, let me know if I'm going too fast or if I'm not audible, so I can keep maintaining that speed. Yeah. Um, so let me tell you an interesting thing that has happened to me since the post about this went up on all the social media since yesterday. Um, I don't know why, but people have sent me messages saying congratulations. And I'm not sure why people are congratulating me for doing this webinar. Is it that they don't think that I can do a webinar, or is it because of the seven-figure aspect that we have mentioned as the title of the webinar? So, what do you guys think? What would be the reason for people congratulating me for this? You can put in your live comment so that I can get what you're saying. So, why do you think people are congratulating? Right. So I think the seven figure is what everyone is here for, right? Let me see what's, yeah, exactly. So Soumya is saying it's because of the seven figure thingy. Soumya, there is no word as thingy, but yeah, I get your point. And Ruchi is saying it's the second option, maybe. Yes, the seven figure. Uh, and I'll tell you, maybe it's because people still take the seven figure as a kind of benchmark for being rich and being not rich. Yeah. So Karthik saying they may believe that you already have achieved seven figure. In fact, Karthik, on the contrary, I think people think that I have just made it to the seven figure. Yeah, Vamsi is saying probably taking the initiative and sharing it with others so that others can also follow. Yes, that was the idea behind doing this webinar. And I want every one of you making the seven figure if you're already not, so that I can go on to make the eight figure and run this similar webinar video, right? So without further ado, let's start. Let me give you a brief about what I have been doing. Many of you know me personally, professionally. Many of us probably have worked together, or you have heard about me either on LinkedIn or any of the social platforms. Some of you I have met at award functions. Some of you have been fellow speakers with me. So that is a great bunch that I'm seeing right now here. Shweta saying they seek you for inspiration. Thank you for that. And might have the thought of sharing the platform with TapChief is a big thing. Yes, it is a big thing for me because if you think about it, it's been an amazing coincidence. Today being 7/7, 7th of July, we're just starting at 7 o'clock. And we're talking about a seven-figure salary. So I'm not going to bore you with a lot of motivation. So I have just prepared seven slides for you so that we can quickly wrap it up and I can only talk about the crux of it. Yeah. So just to give you a brief, someone asked a question about could you tell us what you have been doing through your life? In next couple of minutes, I'll quickly wrap up about what I have been doing. So that sets a nice context on things happening. Someone has sent me a nice big heart, so thank you for that as well. Uh, yeah. So I basically was always kind of a sincere guy who would score around 80, 90%. And the problem with our system is if you score around 90%, you have to go to science as a stream. And this is, I'm talking 20 years back or 15 years. So I chose not to do that and go for a commerce stream because I wanted to do theater. So that was the biggest red flag at that time. If you're scoring 90, you have to go to science, engineering, become go into IT or all of those sorts. But I decided I want to do theater. And while I was doing my theater, I was pursuing my CA as well, which is your chartered accountancy course. So I was kind of trying to balance my life there. Everything was going good, and one fine day, when I was doing my articles with a group called PW, or rather an article house called PwC, I received a mail from British Library saying we would like to offer you a scholarship and would like to send you abroad for further studies. And me being from a typical middle class family background, all of that, that was like a dream come true because nobody offers you that. I had an option of going to either UK or US to study CMA or CPA, but then pound was heavier than dollars, so I decided let's go to UK and do that. So I studied CMA there, finished my CA studies in UK, working with a bank called Barclays there as a wealth manager, and life was going good. But then one fine day, I decided I'll go and watch a film this evening, watch Swades, and in a few months I was back in India. Don't ask why. When I came back to India, I realized that lighting a bulb thing is all fiction, and you're back in India, so you have to start making money there. When I came back to India, I was working into finance for a few days. Then I joined the company into training, into management. All of that happened. But then somewhere, there was a thing that I was missing. That something that was missing was the creative aspect of life. And luckily, I married a girl, or I married a woman who said, I think you should take an early retirement at age of 25 itself and do what you like. So that decision kind of changed my life and the perspective of looking at life as well. So at age 25, I was already living a retired life. Then I joined a company into creatives where I was writing copies for them, writing jingles for them, creating campaigns for them, all of that. A few years later, what happened is I realized if I stick to one company, all I will learn is only one point of view. And this is very important if you want to become a seven-figure freelancer. Is you can never ever become big, or you can never ever grow yourself if you just develop one point of view. You need to develop multiple points of view in your life. That's when you understand life better. That's when you start exploring life more. So that is when I decided to become an independent creative consultant. And I have been a consultant since then. So this is, I'm talking last 5 to 10 years now, right? As an independent consultant, the biggest challenge was how to find clients. Uh, so I'll take a break here and let me tell me in comments if you are facing a problem on how to find these clients. So where do these clients sit who pay you lakhs of rupees, or is it more of a fairy tale that people are paying you lakh rupees when you're charging like 1 rupee per word, or you're charging per manner that you're putting in coding, designing, developing. So is there a question in your mind, so I can quickly go on to that? How to find, or where do you find these clients? Right. So few people are raising their hands here, and I'll let you. I'll answer to you in a while. But there are a few more things that I have been doing as a discipline, as a process in life, and it's not an overnight thing that someone becomes a seven-figure freelancer. That for that overnight to happen, you need to spend many nights working, or many days of working. So I have put up a quick presentation for you, and I would ask Team TapChief to please play the presentation. Just going to take you slide by slide, right? Yes, Ashika, Atul, Shweta, everyone has a similar question. Yes, I will come back to that. Okay. Let me know if you can see the screen now. Can we roll back Team TapChief, please? Yes, the first slide, please. Correct, that one. So I have, so there are contrasting things that are going to happen in your life. Probably next 40 minutes, you'll think ये मेरे साथ क्या हो रहा है, kind of. Yeah. Hi Aparna, how are you doing? Thank you for joining in. Yes, so next 40 minutes is going to be kind of a roller coaster for you, because this is not a cakewalk what we're doing. This is not a dream that you're going to achieve. It's absolutely easy if you follow certain things. So I have put those in 7 steps. So there are two. I have divided the slide in two aspects. One, on the one side, there's a nice little red-cheeked baby who's sleeping, and from the looks of it, that baby is into his deep sleep. And on the right side is a seven-figure freelancer. So this webinar, this session, this chat that we're having right now, I don't want this to be a pravachan. So let's make it two-way. Let's make it interactive. What is your first thought that comes to your mind when you see this slide? You can type it. This is going to be like a fastest finger first. So why did I choose a baby with a seven-figure freelancer, you think? And why not a typical the stack of money that people usually have going with a seven-figure is not shown here? What do you think? You guys can play the fastest finger first, please. Okay, seven-figure freelancer. I'll reframe the question. Relaxed baby earning seven figures. Comment contentment with what you're doing. Yes, that is the best sleep you can get. Yes, exactly. If you have seven-figure bank balance, or if you know that you are worth a seven figure, would you have a sound sleep or would you not have a sound sleep? It's like raising a baby, getting seven figures amount and relaxing. Okay, great. Passive income. Atul is talking about passive income. Yes, I'll come to that, but that's a different webinar altogether. But yes, I make money from there as well. Babies can have a stress-free sleep. Someone saying babies absorb what you teach them. Okay, that's a good way to put it, Prachi. So I think everyone here needs to be a baby while I'm talking. Sleep in peace and getting a seven figure. Karthik saying that. I'll tell you why. The the thing on the left, the little baby, and the thing on the right are not related to each other at all. But the ultimate goal of life is to sleep like that baby. It is like earning from your work, you feel happy, income follows. Yes, Shweta, I think you're getting the crux of where I am going to. But yes, so if I replace the 7 with the 8, the 9, the 10, the 11, the 20, or whatever Ambani makes per minute as well, uh, the ultimate goal is going to be sleeping like this baby on the left. Uh, so I want to take you from being a seven figure to that little baby, right? Laid back approach to your goals versus commitment to achieve your dreams. There's a deep thought that is coming in from a LinkedIn user. That is great. Thank you for that. But yes, next slide, please. So moving from making an X amount to having a nice sleep is where we're going to transit through this presentation. Okay. Next one, please. Thank you. Keep going. Yeah. So what you're looking at me while talking and the what you're looking at me while working are two different people. This is the nice presentable side of me, what you're listening to, and that is the uh, part of me that is usually working that way, right? That is kind of my office where I sit and work. More importantly, this session is not about me because in a way I have already achieved that and I'm been doing that for past few years. It's going to be about you. So if this session is going to be about you, I would like you to put your comments or your feedbacks or your thoughts more on everything that I'm saying, because that is how this will become interactive and that is how others will understand your point of view as well. So that's the most important thing. This session is not going to be about me. It is going to be about you. Right? Next slide, please. Okay. Can anyone explain me what does this slide mean? It says you're always a process and never a result. You are always a process and never a result. What does this mean? Anyone? It's really interesting to read the comments that come in here because it helps me to understand multiple points of view on the same thing. That's a great thing. So keep your comments coming. So you are always a process and never a result. Get it in your DNA, the result oriented, right? I'll tell you the problem. Since we have been young or very young or like toddlers, the only story we have heard and grown is the story of the turtle and the rabbit, right? If you decode the story of turtle and the rabbit, it is a race that people are trying to win. That race is uh, between somebody who's fast and somebody who's slow and steady. So we have been told through the story that slow and steady wins the race, and the fast they do not win the race in that context because they go to sleep or they get tired early. My point is, why is there a race in the first place? That race means the result. the turtle is following its own process, the rabbit is following its own process, but nobody is really following the process or telling us the process that is to be followed. So Amey is saying we are always evolving. Ruchi is saying it is how you do things that defines you. Akash is saying you're always changing, evolving. Somebody saying it's a continuous development. Yes, Pamela. Uh, Prachi is again saying, as we say, journey is more beautiful than the destination. So I'll keep all the beautiful words aside and let's try to decode this. The problem is, as soon as you get a project in hand, we immediately get to creating results. So I have been a writer, director, script writer for many years now. So typically what a script writer does is, as soon as they get a video brief, they will start writing a script. That is the absolute wrong way of doing it. Or if I get a project or if I get a website to develop, people start developing the website. Or if I get a book to write, people immediately start writing the book. And that is where you stop yourself from growing. You have to understand certain points that make the results. For example, if I mix H2 and O, what happens? Two molecules of hydrogen, one molecule of oxygen. What happens to that? The answer is simple. So I think I should not even wait for the answer because all of us have learned this in schools. Uh, the answer is we get H2O. But if I mix H4O2, do you get two molecules of water? H4 and O2. Is that water? Yeah. So everyone's saying water. Yes, we are right. H2 plus O is water. But is H4O2 two water? Yeah. So the so Hina is saying no. But I am just expediting the process. Soumya is saying no as well. And I think everyone's going to say no because people are saying, what nonsense is this? We just learned H2O is water and H4O2 is not water. But I am focusing more on the result and I want to create two molecules of water. So that should be H4O2, right? But it's not exactly because the process says it should be 2H2O and not H4O2. H4 is a different element and O2 is a different element. We cannot create results unless you follow the right process. So, for example, I am from an advertising background or a creative background. Whenever I need to create certain content, I first look at the process because that process defines how big the project will become. Let me put this in context in terms of a website. I think I've shared this example with few of you already, but it's a very interesting example to crack. Okay. uh, Usually a content writer, if you guys are active on LinkedIn, you will see content writers are fighting for earning 1 rupee a word right now, right? Few of the good content writers, they make like two rupees, 3 rupees, 5 rupees a word. uh, there was a content that had come to me, I mean a content project that had come to me where I had to write a website which was close to 3000 words. If I have to write a website of 3000 words, how much should I charge, you think? Next slide, please. Yeah. How much should I charge for a 3000 word website? Okay. So while the answers are coming, because I think they're coming from different streams and social media, uh, So I'll leave you with that thought and I'll come back to it when I open that slide, right? So Akash is saying depends. Yes, that is the most diplomatically correct answer that anyone can give, which is depends, and it is equally right. But let's come to a figure so that we can put everything in context. Okay. Uh, and I'll leave you with that thought while I'm taking up the next slide. Research other factors. Yes, it is quite difficult to quantify that way. Correct. Only for write up minimum 3,000 words at least. Okay, so somebody's saying 3,000 rupees. Okay. Keep the comments coming till I move on to the next slide. It says be a hustler. Anyone knows what hustler means? Because there are more than one ways you can make money. Be a hustler. And all of this is going to be answered when I come to the website example again later. Hustler. So leaving all the negative connotations, I'll tell you what hustler means to me. It means somebody who does multiple things or somebody who can do multiple things at the same time. There are multiple meanings of the word as well, but there are more than one ways you can make money. And I'll try to put that in perspective again. When I moved from my financials or basically my CA or the finance management background to the creative background, I started from zero, right? But if I was starting from zero, I knew I'm not going to be the zero for next few months. I wanted to add a few zeros on the right. That's very important. So if I get into advertising, what all avenues can I work around? Say, for example, advertising can help me grow as a copywriter. It can help me grow as a marketer, a strategist, audiovisual presenter. I can become a writer, a director. I can become a production assistant. So there are more than 7 things I can list right now. If I sit and list, there are more than 50 things I can talk about. But there are 7 things. When I left a full time job and I became a freelancer or a consultant, I started making money from all the 7 things I knew. And that is one of the secrets why the income went from, say, 6 digits to 7 digits. Because I had multiple streams of income coming in. I was making money as a copywriter, as a content writer, as a content creator, as a podcast writer, as a script writer, as a audiovisual director, as a strategist. Uh, I was writing content for social media. I was even making money from consulting, making money from books, where I published a book as a co-author and an editor. So, as a writer itself, there are 8 to 9 avenues that are open for me. But the biggest problem we do is we stick to one thing. Don't stick to one thing because there are more than one ways in which you can make money. After this session, sit with yourself for 5 minutes and list down all the things that you can do. And you will be surprised that you are making money only from a few of those and not all of those. Once you start capitalizing or monetizing all the avenues that you know, that is when you'll start making money. That is how you grow from 6 to 7 digits, right? And I am not kidding. Everyone here is equally capable of going into that 7 digit mark, right? So that's when you become a hustler. Next slide, please. So few of you might get offended, but when I look at this picture, I feel like I'm looking into a mirror. And I'll tell you why. Because I realized this very late in life, but there are times when you are absolutely slogging like an ass. And this ass basically means a donkey, right? So you have to be an asset and not an ass in the project. Now, why have I used a donkey in the picture, you think? Start scratching your head and let me know. Why do you think I have used a donkey? Because if you look at the positives of a donkey, A donkey is a hard worker. A donkey does not ask questions. A donkey does whatever he's told to, and he never works for credit. Credit, as in, he never works for all the accolades that he's going to receive. So he basically puts whatever heavy load is on his back, puts his head down, and keeps walking. Does this sound familiar by any chance? Because it did to me few years back. Hard worker and not a smart worker is what Karthik is saying. Yes, absolutely. It's a hard worker. So I am not saying you should not do your hard work, but I'll tell you what real hard work means. Soumya is saying one needs to do smart work and not slogging it out. Absolutely, yes, correct. Uh, People have a wrong connotation. Again, probably it is the way we have been brought up since we were kids, or even our parents have been brought up as kids. We have been only told that only hard work is the key to success, uh, which is not the right thing. Hard work is not the key to success if you don't add brains to it. Now, let me put this in perspective. Say, for example, I get a project which I complete usually in 10 hours, right? And after a certain amount of time, say in next 6 months, I get a similar project and I complete that in 2 hours. Is that hard work or is that smart work? Doing a project in 10 hours and doing a project in 2 hours, is that hard work or smart work? Yeah, what do you think? I move from A of the project to B of the project. So I work on the process, reach the result in 10 hours, and I reach the same result in 2 hours. Which one is hard work, you think? Smart work. Okay. So I'm saying that is smart work. So working in finishing a work in 2 hours is basically smart work. But I think uh, working on a 10-hour job in 2 hours is basically hard work, because you need to think more, you need to act more, you need to take more references, research more, you need to hustle more, and finish the project in 2 hours. The problem is we are never taught about these things. So we think a certain job, if it takes 10 hours, I need to keep doing the same job the same way in the same time for years together. Exactly. So Pamela is saying it's the experience gained which is fueling to complete in short span. And gaining that experience is basically hard work for me. If I have 10 hours of work and I finish that work in 2 hours, what happens there? I finish the work in 2 hours, which means I have 8 more hours to make money, or to take up more projects, or to enjoy life, whatever you want to do that day. But we take more time for a certain project. And I'm not saying about a project that will take 10 hours. I am saying a project that can be completed in 2 hours if we take 10 hours, which means you are losing on 8 hours of making money. In economics or in finance, we call this the opportunity cost. The loss of opportunity for you is that 8 hours of money making. Now expedite this. Now this 10 hours is your day into number of days you work for a week, into number of weeks you work for a month, and into number of months you work for a year. And now tell me how many hours you've already lost. Too much maths? Okay, I'll give you a simple answer. It's too many hours. I mean, you won't even understand the amount of hours we are losing here, right? So that's very important. An asset works less and makes more. An ass works more and makes less. That's very important. So don't be an as be an asset. Very important. Next slide, please. Right. This is very, very important during this current scenario. Uh, and I think I have put a few LinkedIn posts on this as well. The biggest problem right now, I'll tell you what's happening is everybody wants to make money, right? And there's nothing wrong in that. Everybody needs to make money. Now, when everybody wants to make money, what is happening is there is more supply and less demand. More supply, less demand, which means the prices fall. That's basic economics. More demand, less supply. What happens? The prices rise. If you want your prices to rise, you have to be in demand. That's what we have been taught. But we were never sure about what is the logic behind being in demand. That means you have to be more in demand and less in supply. So whoever I have been talking to since pandemic started, I mean, this is back in January, uh, people started dropping the prices, and people are dropping prices like anything. I mean, for example, if they are handling a social media account of a brand and they were charging 50,000 rupees for it, straight away they have cut it down to 10,000 just because they don't want to lose the client. The problem is if you drop down to 10,000, you will never be able to come back to 50,000 because you are telling that the same job can be done in 10,000 as well. So why should the client pay you 50,000? That's very important. So everyone whom I've been talking to is the same thing is don't reduce your rates. Find out how you can add value to your work. That's very, very, very important. Crucial, at least in these current timings. So you have to work more for making the same money, which is a 50,000. Because if I put it in the numerical value, if I drop my services to 10,000 and I want to make 50,000 every month, I have to work 5 times more, or I will get less because if I have only one client, I might end up making only 10,000 rupees a month. And we are talking about making 10 lakhs a month or a year at least. But we want to go to the 7 digits. So there's only one way to do it is you add value to your work and not reduce your rates. Now I'll tell you what thoughts are going in your mind right now when I say don't reduce our rates. As soon as I say don't reduce rates, some people would have raised their eyebrows, some people would have scratched their heads, some people would have said, "ये पागल हो गया क्या?" Because everyone else is doing that. That is why I am doing it. Is everyone else making 10 lakhs a month, a year? I mean, not even a month, but a year? No, right? So why are we following wrong examples? Let's follow right examples. Do you think Mercedes Benz has dropped their rates just because it is pandemic? No, they are charging for the same amount. Why do you think gold has inflated in these days? Anyone knows why has gold inflated? Because when nobody is buying, the prices should have gone down. Instead, they are going up. It's the same with fuel. Yeah. Anyone knows? Give it a shot. Come on. And you don't have to be an economist or from finance background to know this. You just need to tickle your senses. It's a very, very common sense wala answer. So I'll tell you what's happening. So Naveen is saying, I think we are ingrained to be humble and that translates reducing rates. Yes, that's a big problem. Uh, but being humble does not mean you have to drop your rates. Being humble means you give more than you are expected to. Under promise and over deliver. That is what defines you, or that is what should define you, right? So I'll tell you what is happening with gold and fuel. People are banking on futures. Futures means the price of a commodity that you'll get in the future. That defines the rate in the present. If you are a commodity, what is your price going to be in the future? That should define your present. Too difficult? It basically means you have to command the rates that you will want in the future and not in the present. That is when you become a rare commodity, right? So don't reduce your rates. That's my humble request to you. Add value to what you're doing. Maybe you add a few deliverables, but don't reduce your rates, because from if you drop your rates, it will be very difficult for you to come back to your the rates that you were charging before pandemic. I'll tell you, pandemic is not a phase in, I mean, it's not a defining moment of your life. It's just a phase. For me, yes, Naveen is saying, yes, I got two new clients in June at premium rates. Exactly. And I'll tell you, if you get premium rate wale clients, or you get clients who are to whom you're charging cheap, you still have to give the same amount of effort. So it does not matter that you're charging high, low, or medium, whatever you're charging, you still have to deliver your best. So if you're going to deliver your best, why are you negotiating your rates? Don't negotiate. The only thing that might happen is you might have a drop in your clients, but the amount of money you will make is exactly going to be the same. And trust me, having 5 clients who pay you 10,000 a month is far worse than having one client who pays you 50,000 a month, because you're more focused. You can deliver more to one client, you can retain him more, you can give him more ideas versus burning yourself off, right? So don't reduce your rates. Next one, please. Very important. Don't burn your bridges. Does anyone know what does burning your bridges mean? Obviously, you would know, but in this context, what would it mean? Navin, Atul, Soumya, Prachi, Vanki. Hi, Vanki. I didn't see you. Sorry. There's Pamela. There's a nice company here as well. Great. C Plums. Okay. Hina is here. Yeah. Don't burn your bridges. These are the people whom you have worked in the past, and these are the people who have already gone through your resumes, your work, your style of working, your client servicing. They have experienced the way you operate, and it's just uh, the problem is we focus more on the future and not on the past. I'll tell you, the if I am working on say 18 projects currently, yeah, ruining contacts of ex clients, not ruin relations. Correct. Naveen, you're right. And I'm coming to the same point. Atul is saying the same thing. Yes. I'm working on currently 18 projects. Out of those 18 projects, let me count. 10 projects are with uh, people that I have previously worked, because there's a huge reshuffling of employees, there's a huge reshuffling of talent that is happening currently. If there's a lot of reshuffling, what happens is that creates an opportunity for you to fill in that gap while not being into their framework. So you can join there as a consultant, you can join there for a project as a gig or whatever you guys call it, but they already trust you, they know how you operate, and all you need to do is sign the contract. The problem is we forget to look at this aspect. If you want to get into the 7-digit bracket, work with your past clients, work with your present clients, and work with your future clients. Don't just focus on future. Once the project is over, don't say bye bye to the client. Say hi and tell him how we can again operate together, or how we can join hands. What do I have in mind for you? And that is when you'll start making money from multiple channels, right? So that's don't burn your bridges. Next one. Uh, this is kind of my second favorite thing that I'm going to talk about. The next one is the favorite. Yeah, be there. If you see the image, it's God's map of the universe. Now, problem with God is he has to be everywhere. He's an omnipresent entity. So he has to be here and there and everywhere. Replace God with yourself. So imagine or visualize yourself in place of that God. And the map or the whiteboard that you're looking at right now is your work map, or that is your work life. Right now, the problem is you have one of the projects because you know that you're good as a writer, you're good as a coder, a designer, a project manager, or whatever streams you come from. You have to be everywhere. And when I say everywhere, it means you have to be visible everywhere, which means you have to brand yourself. This branding is absolutely important. I'll tell you what happens with these. For example, there's a reason why I'm doing this webinar for Tapchi. They probably might have come to my profile and they must have seen a few the kind of posts or the kind of value I can bring to the table. If Tapchi tomorrow comes to your profile, are they going to get the same value? Yes, no, maybe. There are three options. You have to always work towards that yes as an answer. Are you a brand that people look up to? So I'll tell you when you start becoming a brand, right? And that's when the money starts flowing in automatically. You start becoming a brand when people start referring you to other projects, saying ki if this is the kind of project that has come to me, this is the right person. So these things usually happen with me now more than before is uh, if there is a certain project that is happening in Pune and that's a high value project, whatever advertising agency it goes to, it funnels down to me because somehow all these advertising agencies in Pune, few in Mumbai, few in Delhi, Bangalore, all of these agencies are now thinking if we take it to Rishikesh, he will be the right person to finish this. That is personal branding for me. Personal branding does not mean you win awards, you have millions of followers, or every post you put on LinkedIn or whichever profile you put onto, you get thousands of comments, likes, engagement. That does not mean personal branding. That is one aspect of personal branding. Personal branding means, are you a recall in somebody else's head? That's very, very important. When you start becoming a recall in somebody else's head whom you're not even connected to, you have developed your brand, right? That is what I mean by be there. Another aspect of being there is you have to be always ready to help others because that help comes to you in thousand ways, right? uh, so I'll tell you my typical LinkedIn day how it goes on because I am more active on LinkedIn and less on other platforms because I think that is where most of my work comes through, right? uh, every day I get say around 100 connection requests, uh, around 30 or 40 likes on my posts, which is great. I think you guys must be getting more than that, which is even better. But every day I get projects on LinkedIn. Every day I get job offers on LinkedIn, and every day I get messages from people saying, "Can you help me?" These "Can you help me" wala crowd is my first target. So I am not going out and giving them jobs because I myself don't run a company per se, but I try to connect them to right uh, mediums or right platforms or right people in whichever way it's possible to me, because those people, they become your brand ambassadors and they start talking about you when they're outside. Problem is we are too focused on our work that we forget that there's a bigger world outside, right? Wanky is saying being on top of the mind. Yes, absolutely, that's very, very important. But you have to look outside that narrow window of my post my engagement, my network, and my connections. When that my becomes we or our, that is when your scope is broadened. That is when your focus is broadened, right? And that's very important. So you have to be there for others. And I think we are moving to the last slide. Uh, Next slide, please. No, there's a slide before this, please. One before this, please. Yes. When you go to sleep and when you wake up every day, ask this question or fill in this blank. It says, I want people to know me for. What do people want to know you for? Are you a great writer? Are you a great singer? Or you are just a great human being? Or whatever you want to, you need to fill in that blank. I want people to know me as jack of all trades. I don't want people to know me as master of all trades, because masters live in the past and jacks live in the present and the future. Your examples or your projects or whatever you say is supposed to be relevant to people. It has to be today or about tomorrow, not about past. That's why don't consider yourself as an expert any day of your life. Don't try to be an expert any day. Your services have to be of the level of an expert, but you should not consider yourself as an expert. So you want yourself to be known as, and whatever that blank is, never forget that blank, because this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, these 8 words define the purpose of your life. The day you find your purpose is the day any figure salary, any figure project, any figure uh, whatever worth you are becomes smaller in front of this. And when you start working for this, you will realize the kind of projects, the kind of money that is flowing in, the kind of people you are networking with changes. So that's very important, right? uh, and the last slide, please. I think we are still in time. We are 1 minute extended, so I'm sorry about that. But these are few places that you guys can network the best me with. So I am active on LinkedIn. There's my email ID. Put there. Skype, yes. About me is a little about me, what I do. So I'm a hustler, like I said, and I'm a jack of all trades. And yes, Staff Chief is somewhere you can easily find me, right? Uh, So I think we have another 5 minutes. So let's do a quick rapid fire for questions. There are already close to 15 questions that I'm looking at. Maybe I won't be able to answer all of them right now, but I'll find a way to make sure that I answer these either today or whenever it's possible, and I'll make sure that it reaches to you, right? Uh, I'll take bigger questions and not very specific questions so that it answers most of them. How does one ensure constant supply of opportunities? Yes, it's a very interesting question. Uh, how does one ensure there's constant supply of opportunities? I'll give you a very basic chawl wala example. Okay, if I have a bucket to fill and I have one tap to fill, okay, and it takes 5 minutes to fill the bucket. I want to fill the bucket in 2 minutes. What should I do? I have a bucket. I have a tap. It takes 5 minutes to fill one bucket, but I want to fill that bucket in 2 minutes. What is the right way to fill the bucket in the shortest possible time? You can send in your answers via comments, please. Naveen, I got your question. What are some of the aspects of personal branding, and how can we think of personal brand besides the vanity metrics? Yes, it's a beautiful question that you've asked, but it's a completely different webinar that I can run on it, right? Yes, Rashmi has just answered. She's saying increase flow. And that is the right answer actually. I would install multiple taps so that I fill the bucket faster. Problem is we try uh, hammering the tap. We try to open the tap to its fullest, but there's a limit to every tap. Instead, if I install multiple taps, I can fill not just one bucket in least amount of time, but I can fill more buckets. Now replace the buckets with opportunities. That's what you need to do. You need to find avenues, all the avenues where the money will come from or where the projects will come from. For me, the projects come from WhatsApp, they come from LinkedIn, they come from my one-on-one meetings that happen with people, they come from Facebook, they come from Twitter, they come from Instagram, and it goes into multiples. And you will be surprised. I think I mentioned it a little earlier as well. A lot of people have been crying for projects. I have 18 projects going on right now, and I'm not even kidding about it. And these 18 projects, not all of them paying me into lakhs. But when I add up all of those, it certainly goes into lakhs. So I'll tell you how I have made, I mean, this COVID-19 an opportunity. Like I said, I am a script writer. I wrote a script for one of the brands to hospitality, a five-star. I don't know to name the brand, but it was a five-star hotel, and we made a film on what are the precautions they're taking after the lockdown will end or after they open up. That film was published on all their social media. I took that film and I took it to all the brands. Since then, I have written 10 scripts on the same topic. Not all are going into lakhs, but when I add the money that I made from the idea or the concept of COVID-19, I think I must have made at least 5.5 lakh rupees in last 3 months. Next question. Uh, Somebody just fell off the chair. I'm sorry about that. Yes. So next question that's coming here is how to acquire customers. That's a big topic. We should connect offline and on that as well. How to build a good portfolio in writing, very specific. I'll answer that as well later. How do you, what do high paying clients look for in an ideal candidate? Okay, great. I'll quickly answer this. The concept has to be amazing. It has to be never heard of. The concept has to be very simple to execute. So even the uh, lamest person in the group should be able to understand and take an action on it, and it should be measurable. That is when you start getting high paying clients. That's very important. It should be easy to execute, it should be never heard about, and it should be focused on the lamest of person. Okay. Next question says, how can freelancers work or collaborate with big MNCs? I'll answer that, but not right now because I think few people are hungry already. But I'll make sure I give a bigger answer to that. Whom should a freelancer contact or reach out in an MNC to get good project? Uh, so MNCs has come in multiple times, and I'll quickly clear this doubt or this misconception. It's not just the MNCs that help you make money. It could be even the smallest of brands that's close to your home that can help you make money. Like I said, you don't need to find a client that is going to give you 10 lakh rupees. That I didn't mean that when I said it is better to have one client who's paying you 50,000. You find one client who's paying 50,000 instead of one client or five clients who are paying you 10,000. That's what I meant. But here, don't restrict yourself just to MNCs, because the bigger the company, the more process oriented they'll become. They'll have more rigid processes of getting in and getting out. Instead, find clients who need your services. That's very, very, very important. I recently did a film for a chai wala, and that basically chai wala is not a tapri chai wala. It's basically a brand that is trying to come up. And I made close to 30,000 plus whatever GSTs. Yeah. So 30,000 rupees in close to 4 hours. That's how the money starts rolling in. And that's what hustling means. Uh, I think I should take the last question. Yeah. So if anyone has a last question that you want me to end with, I'll be happy with that. I think this talk can go on through the night, but I don't want to stretch it too much. Any last question that you have for me? That's a huge silence. I think. Okay, so you can shoot in your questions, you can comments. I think most of us are connected through LinkedIn the best. If you're not, please do that. I'm always available there more than any other platforms. If I'm not available, I'll make sure I connect and reply to you, right? Uh, so let's extend this session into yes, Naveen, we'll surely connect offline. We'll work on personal branding. Yes, but I'm not a personal branding consultant, so I will not motivate you. My things are more of education. So I try to do it the old school or the hard way. So if you're ready for that, let's do it anytime, right? And yes, I think that's it. There are too many things that I still wanted to share with you, but I don't want to burden you. I would request the team TapChief to make this document available to anybody who wants it, because these seven bill would become your seven pillars when you go ahead. Right? And yes, great. Thank you, TapChief. Thank you for all the viewers, all the people who have been commenting and making this webinar more interesting. Thank you, Hina. Yes, different thinking. I'll tell you, it's not different thinking. Basically, it's thinking too basic. Uh, the problem is high flyers forget the ground. I am trying to stay rooted, and staying rooted is what will help you get ahead. Yes, Naveen, thank you. And even we joined late. I'll quickly apologize for that. I think we missed crucial 10 or 15 minutes to sort the technical issues. Yes, I'm done. I'm on LinkedIn. Catch me there or send me a mail. Catch me on Skype, wherever you want, and we'll take it up from there. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Take care.